I have been the luckiest woman in the world to have had the career I've had.
Oh, I must have been a beautiful baby. I must have been a... What's your second line, Mike?
You must have been a wonderful child.
I must have been a wonderful child.
They All Kissed the Bride is a 1942 romantic comedy starring Joan Crawford, Melvyn Douglas, and Roland Young. Margaret Johanna Drew, also known as MJ, inherits her father's financial empire after he passes away. MJ arranges a wedding for her younger sister Vivian and the son of a steel tycoon to increase their business relations.
Intelligent people don't marry for better or worse. They marry for better and better.
Though at the wedding, MJ runs into the reporter who has been threatening her trucking business.
Music. The room's filled with it.
The only thing the room's filled with is the noise you're making.
MJ eventually finds herself increasingly drawn to Mike, the reporter, with a doctor diagnosing her as lovesick. Finally realizing that she is in love with Mike, MJ hurries to see him, but Johnny and the other drivers won't let her. Soon after, Johnny meets with Mike and instructs him to climb in the back of the truck and close the door. When one of Drew's spies spots the truck, MJ opens the door and tells Johnny,
Stop at the First Minister's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Directed by Alexander Hall, the working title was He Kissed the Bride. The film was originally set to star Carole Lombard, though she passed away in a plane crash on January 16, 1942, while returning from promoting war bonds. The script was rewritten by P.G. Wolfson after MGM agreed to lend Joan Crawford to Columbia Pictures for the film. Production began on February 23rd. Press articles noted that on the first morning of the shoot, to break the tension, Joan was supposed to thump herself down heavily on the chair, but she shoved the chair out of the way and landed right on the floor. Laughter filled the room, said to be led by Joan herself. From then on, the crew felt she had grown up at Columbia, not MGM. During production, the director invited the Hays Code to come on set and watch the dopeful scenes during filming for approval on the spot. Crawford also celebrated her 36th birthday on set in March. The cinematographer, Joseph Walker, used a special lavender lighting technique while Crawford was filmed to, quote, enhance the brilliance of her eyes. Joan's wardrobe was designed by Irene, the costume designer at Columbia at the time. Both she and Irene agreed the suit should be, quote, more feminine in this film considering it was wartime, using softened necklines, cuts, and trims of bows or ties. Many of the clothes were colors like navy blue or dusty pink. Joan tried to persuade the director to allow one of her pet Dachshund hounds, Poopskin, a chance to star in the film. He reluctantly agreed. The next day, Poopskin was supposed to run across the room and jump into Joan's lap as he always does in real life. All was fine in rehearsals, so they turned the cameras on. Then, Poopskin sat down and howled until Joan carried him into the dressing room. For the jitterbug scene, Joan took lessons with Dwayne Truitt of Seamen's First Class, a well-known jitterbug champion. Production on the film wrapped on April 16th. They All Kissed the Bride was released on June 11th, 1942. Some theaters, like in New Haven, had ushers dressed up in evening clothes and distributed over 2,000 formal invitations as keepsakes. Variety reported the film made $1 million at the box office in the USA. Crawford donated her entire salary of $112,500 to charities in memory of Carole Lombard, including the United States Army, Navy, and American Red Cross, which helped with recovery efforts following Lombard's death. It is also said that Joan fired her agent after he requested his 10% from her salary, not wanting to donate his portion to charity. Joan Crawford said in an August 1942 interview with Hollywood Magazine, quote, "The public wants light laughter and hot romance, and believe me, we are giving it to them in this picture. With the war uppermost in everybody's mind, I think the movie-going public is begging for escape from reality when it goes to the theater these days. There are no less than 78 love scenes, and they are the kind which created the great lovers in the old days. Nor are my kisses any sisterly pecks or gentle lip brushes. When I kiss the various men, I mean business. The film was promoted with ads in newspapers, tie-in window cards that were distributed to stores, announcements on radio programs, and guessing contests, including one in Fall River, Massachusetts, with 15 people winning free tickets for guessing the amount of rice kernels in a bowl. One promo included 4 individuals dressed as a wedding party, touring the streets in a vintage carryall. The film received mixed reviews. Some critics noted war audiences enjoyed the film, with Crawford excelling in her role, though others criticized the script. Today, They All Kiss the Bride is one of the few films starring Joan Crawford to still have not been released on DVD, though it was released on VHS back in February 1997. Although not Crawford's best film, I find this film enjoyable, and at the time was a different type of role that she had been typecast into playing previously at MGM. Crawford as the head of a business empire. Still, I'm sure proved useful as the first female director of Pepsi Cola later in 1959.